comes down to basketball, when it comes down to actual talent and not taking dirty jabs, not punching someone in the throat, not kneeing someone in the groin, not flagrant fouling someone from behind while their back is turned to you, right? Not taunting somebody for a long time with your finger, right? Not walking into Indiana saying, walk in your trap, take over your trap, right? Not all these things, not trying to fight Caitlyn on the court. Those won't win basketball games. You know what will win basketball games? What this woman right here, Elizabeth Clark, does on a nightly basis. The face... Oh my, the face of Marina Mabrey right here on your screen. Let this be a microcosm for the next 10 years against every opponent who tried to hard foul and do CC nasty. I mean, Angel Reese.
Look at this, man. Watch this. Marina always trying to score something with somebody, bro. This is crazy. Look. And it's Kelsey Mitchell. Come on. And look, Marina knows she was wrong. Because, now you know Mabrey was wrong because we've never seen Kelsey Mitchell do anything like that.
Ignore the sold-out arenas stretching from coast to coast and the unprecedented surge in jersey sales that has effectively kept the WNBA's retail sector in a constant state of shortage. Forget the private charters and the media circus that now follows a random Tuesday night game like it's the NBA Finals. If you really want to understand the current state of the WNBA, don't look at the box score, look at the tunnels. According to a single viral moment caught on camera, there is a much clearer, albeit much more uncomfortable, representation of where this league's internal dynamics currently sit. The transition of the league from a niche interest to a global cultural phenomenon has created a fascinating friction between established veterans and the new guard. While the league's growth is objectively positive for everyone involved, more visibility, more revenue, and more prestige, the individual reality for veteran players who have spent years toiling in relative obscurity is often painful. We are witnessing a fundamental shift in the hierarchy of star power, and it's creating tension that goes far. It forces players to reconcile their past status with a new, rapidly evolving reality, where the spotlight is brighter and much more exclusive than it has ever been before. The image currently circulating online is impossible to unsee. It captures Marina Mabrey standing near the tunnel, watching Caitlyn Clark sign autographs for a massive wall of fans who remained in the arena long after the final buzzer. The look on Mabrey's face is the focal point of the entire controversy, and it is far from subtle. It isn't a neutral, accidental glance. It's an unmistakable, calculated side-eye. It is the precise look of someone who is struggling to internalize a reality they simply cannot accept, that the person receiving the adulation is someone they view as a rival, or perhaps someone whose presence they find fundamentally grating. The internet, functioning as a high-speed engine for collective observation, caught the nuance of that expression within seconds. It has since become a Rorschach test for fans. One side sees a bitter veteran, unable to handle the new spotlight, while the other might argue it is just a frustrated competitor dealing with a tough home loss. Regardless of the intent, the image has become a symbol of the friction defined by this season. It serves as a visual reminder that for some players, the Caitlyn Clark effect isn't just a business boom. It's a personal affront that challenges their sense of place and value within the league.
I can guarantee you some part of this is real. Why? Because this is some Canadian singer I don't know. This is her, what I think was her partner. This is a woman who was about who in heels about 6'5". Why do I know that? Because I was sitting here. I was right here. This is the Canadian singer. I don't know who it is. She was on Celebrity Cam. This is said Canadian singer and a partner. This is my footage. This is my footage. So, Marina is clearly trying to talk to Caitlyn after the game. Caitlyn does not want anything to do with Marina Mabrey and just walks right by and starts signing.
This image has transcended sports reporting to become a piece of cultural commentary on the nature of fame. Once a candid photo like this hits the digital sphere, it ceases to belong to the subjects involved and becomes a canvas for the public's projections. We are seeing a breakdown of professional decorum in real time, analyzed by thousands of spectators who are eager to pick apart the social hierarchy of the WNBA. The fact that this moment occurred near the tunnel, the transition point between the professional game mode and the public persona, makes it particularly telling. It's a moment of unguarded vulnerability. When Mabrey stopped to watch Clark interact with the fans, she wasn't just observing a teammate or an opponent, she was observing a phenomenon that is arguably changing the way she is perceived by her own supporters. In the modern era, you cannot hide your reaction, because there is always a lens, a fan with a phone, or a high-definition broadcast camera focused on the minutiae of these interactions. The incident highlights the growing pressure on players to maintain a polished, professional exterior at all times, even when they are physically and emotionally drained from a losing effort. The failure to mask that internal frustration has turned a simple post-game moment into a lightning rod for debate.
Look at that. Threes, please. Threes, please. Okay, MHA, what you gonna do with it? You know you don't want to give it back. Oh, look at that. KK.
We have to ask the honest question that most analysts are avoiding. Who is lining up for a Marina Mabrey autograph at 10:30 p.m. on a weeknight? Nobody is skipping dinner, sitting in miserable traffic for an extra hour, or lingering for 90 minutes after the game just to snag a scribble from a veteran who isn't the primary draw. This isn't an attack on her basketball talent or her career accolades. It is an objective reality check regarding where these players sit on the spectrum of cultural impact. One player has the gravitational pull to move entire markets, sell out arenas, and dictate the league's media narrative every time she laces up her shoes. The other is a high-level professional athlete, but she lacks that specific transformative star power that has redefined the league this year. The widening gap between the two isn't something that happens in a vacuum. It's a constant, measurable reality that manifests in ticket sales, social media engagement, and the atmosphere in every building the Fever visits. When a player who has been accustomed to being a focal point suddenly finds themselves peripheral to the main event, the cognitive dissonance is immense. The side-eye wasn't just about a game, it was about the painful acknowledgement of a shifting landscape where the rules of relevance have been rewritten overnight.
Not gonna lie, what we're seeing from CC is freaking ridiculous. She is hooping on another planet right now. Oh my God. Last night, she put the work. She put belt to ass on my Toronto team, on the Toronto Tempo. It was also Caitlin Clark's Canadian debut, her first game in the city of Toronto, and she did not disappoint. She left the entire country of Canada excited. 24 points, 4 3-pointers, and 7 assists. Honestly, just cooking. Like, some of the buckets I've seen, ridiculous. Like, she's the most exciting player to watch in the league. I can't even.
This wasn't just a random game in the middle of a long season. It was Mabrey's home floor, in front of a fan base that was supposed to be there to support her. The Indiana Fever didn't just walk in and put up a fight. They walked in and controlled the outcome, effectively turning a home game into an away environment for the host team. For a competitor, there is no deeper humiliation than having the opposition's star player own your building. When the fans, the people who pay the salary and fuel the atmosphere, begin to prioritize the visiting team's star over their own roster, it cuts to the core of an athlete's pride. It creates a vacuum of support that is incredibly difficult for any professional to navigate. You are supposed to be the one setting the tone, the one controlling the energy, and the one the fans look to when things get tough. Instead, you are forced to watch that mandate be seized by someone else. That is a heavy burden to carry, and as a competitor, it is the kind of night that sticks to your ribs long after the box score is filed away and the lights in the arena are dimmed.
100% like aware. I know when I went too far with things, like, and it's like shameful. It's like, really, Marina, like, that was ridiculous. So, like, for example, the Caitlin thing, like, when the play was over and everyone was like, that was obvious that my emotions of us losing and losing and losing, and then she's like low-key punking our team on top of it. Like, that was too far. Like, that was too much. But then when you go to like Unrivaled this season, and like the little scuffle between me and Suge, like, that was perfect. Because it was just enough that it like fueled me and the team. But then on the flip side, like when we were in Indiana and it was, everyone's booing us, like, it feels like shit. We end up losing by like 25, and it's like, Marina, that's your fault, buddy. Like, you can't do that.
When people online describe the reaction as salty, they aren't just talking about the look. They are talking about the context. This wasn't a singular, out-of-character mistake. It was the culmination of a night spent being relegated to the background of her own team's home game. Watching your own fans cheer for the opposing team's point guard, watching them wear the opposing team's jerseys, and watching them clamor for an autograph from the person who just beat you, that is an assault on the ego. Most seasoned professionals develop a psychological armor to handle this, keeping the frustration buried behind a polite, media-trained veneer. But when that armor cracks, the raw, unfiltered honesty of that frustration is jarring. It reveals the humanity behind the athlete, but it also reveals the immense pressure they are under. The saltiness is really just the manifestation of a player struggling to maintain their composure, while the world around them is actively validating their rival at their own expense. It is a harsh, brutal reality of professional sports. Sometimes the game you play is secondary to the game being played by the public, and in this instance, that public game was clearly lost by the host before the game even tipped off.
This is crazy. I have never seen Kelsey Mitchell react like this. I honestly don't think I've ever seen Kelsey Mitchell get this mad. Get so mad to get up in somebody's face. What happened? What did Marina Mabrey do to evoke this out of Kelsey Mitchell? Also, you guys, look at Marina Mabrey's reaction. She doesn't even do anything. Kelsey gets in her face, she's yelling at her, and Marina Mabrey just looks at her and walks away. Like, this is even crazy for Marina. She has crowned herself the crash out queen. She didn't even say anything. She wanted no smoke. I need to know what happened though. Like, was anybody at this game? Was anybody sitting courtside? Does anybody have a different angle of what went down? Like, what caused this? I have so many questions. You have like one of the calmest players in the league going off on one of the biggest crash outs in the league, and the crash out does nothing, and the calm player is going off.
This was not an isolated incident, which is why the whole scenario feels so damning for those trying to defend it as just a game. Before the tension reached the tunnel, there was the live-action friction on the court. The jawing with Kelsey Mitchell, the aggressive posturing, and the visible intensity directed at anyone in a Fever jersey, it all points to a player who had checked out of the tactical game and checked into a personal vendetta. When you spend 40 minutes pointed outward at your opponents, complaining about fouls, and engaging in shouting matches, you aren't playing winning basketball. You are playing emotionally charged, desperate basketball. That level of outward focus is almost always a sign of a rattled player. If you are truly locked into your own performance, you rarely have the mental bandwidth to spend the entire night policing the behavior of the opponent. The fact that the physical confrontation occurred during the game, followed by the side-eye after the game, indicates a consistency of frustration that was impossible to hide. She spent the entire night fighting a battle against everybody else, instead of focusing on the game plan, and the result of that psychological slip was an evening that did nothing to help her team, and everything to solidify her reputation as the antagonist of this particular Fever arc.
Somebody on the floor, that is an ejection. If you do that, if you do that in the NBA, you're gone, bro. Like, what are we talking about? This is common sense. This is the most bottom of the barrel of a professional league I've watched, bro. Like, what is this?
Ultimately, this situation is a stark reminder of the cost of the modern spotlight. The WNBA is growing, but it is doing so at a pace that is leaving some of its established stars feeling alienated. When the sport you have dedicated your life to suddenly changes, and the metrics for success, popularity, influence, and recognition suddenly shift in a direction that leaves you behind, it is normal to feel frustration. However, the way you handle that transition defines your legacy. You can choose to embrace the growth, knowing that a bigger pie benefits every player in the league, or you can react with the kind of visible bitterness that only serves to alienate the very fans you need to win back. The tunnel moment was a turning point. It signaled that the friction we've seen all season isn't just a series of coincidences. It is a fundamental clash of eras. For those like Clark, the challenge is to stay humble amidst the noise. For veterans like Mabrey, the challenge is to find a way to navigate this new era without letting the perceived slight of not being the main event consume their professional identity. The league is heading in a massive direction, but for the players involved, the road there is being paved with personal and professional challenges that are, quite frankly, just as important as the final scores. The burden of professionalism. As we wrap up this look at the Fever tempo dynamic, we have to recognize that what we are seeing is not just a rivalry. It is an evolution. We are watching the WNBA grow from a league that was sustained by a dedicated core base into a global entertainment powerhouse. But growth, while necessary and positive, is rarely clean. It brings with it the friction of changing roles, shifting expectations, and the inevitable clash of egos. When we analyze a moment like the tunnel incident, we aren't just critiquing a player's facial expression. We are witnessing the growing pains of a league that is trying to balance its history with its future. It is easy to label someone as salty or bitter, but that reductionist approach ignores the reality of being a professional athlete who has worked for years to achieve a level of status, only to have that status challenged by a generational talent who changes the math overnight. The frustration is real, even if the expression of it is something that seasoned professionals should strive to manage. For the Fever, this win was a statement. For the Tempo, and for veterans like Marina Mabrey, the night was a stark realization that the landscape of the WNBA has shifted beneath their feet. The challenge now is not to fight the current, but to figure out how to navigate these new waters. The fans are here, the lights are on, and the expectations have never been higher. The players who will define the next decade of this league won't just be the ones who score the most points. They will be the ones who can handle the immense psychological pressure of being in the public eye without letting that pressure erode their professional dignity. At the end of the day, basketball is a meritocracy. The attention goes where the impact is. And right now, the impact is undeniably focused on the stars who are moving the needle. But there is enough room in this league for veterans to define their own value beyond just the viral clips. We need to move past the drama of the tunnel and get back to appreciating the craft. We need to respect the history that brought the league to this point, while embracing the explosive energy that is taking it into the stratosphere. What about you? Do you think the veteran players are being unfairly targeted by the media, or is the frustration we are seeing simply part of the professional evolution of the league? Let me know your honest take in the comments below. If you found this breakdown insightful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the evolving world of the WNBA. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.